meeting just for the, I guess, a formal presentation of our budget now that we review and work on it. It will be the budget we're going to vote on, have a first reading on June 8th and the second reading, the second meeting in June. And so there won't be any votes today. I just want to make sure you all got this, and you've got my letter that kind of outlines the budget. Just want to say again, great effort on everybody's part, both the staff here at City Hall and Aaron Bowes, and then all the work that you guys have put in at these very long meetings we've had reviewing this. It was work that's needed, and I think our due diligence helps us. I think we went into this past year with a lot of unknowns, and I think we're all surprised that we able to do as well as we did. I think it's good to get through I think the most difficult parts of the pandemic might be behind us. It's still hard to predict what may happen longer term, but we provide essential services 24/7, and our work here never stops at the city. And I think we did a great job of weathering through that, and we got a lot of work ahead of us. So the fiscal year 22 budget really is quite similar in many ways to last year. The one you have with you now does include the special funds that we didn't really review, but you've got them in front of you now. As I said the other night, if you've got questions of these special funds, just you can call Aaron. These funds really, with the exception of cemetery, don't really have day-to-day activities. Mostly they are strictly funds where there's once a year or twice a year transfers out of them, like for the municipal aid fund, system development enhancement fund, lagoon fund, self-insurance funds. They are not really operational funds, so they are included in our budget now. And if you got questions of them, you can certainly ask Aaron or any of the department heads that they fall under. The overall budget now is coming in at roughly $65 million. That's about a $4 million increase over last year. That includes combined utilities, general fund, and these special funds. But $3.5 million of that increase is combined utilities capital projects primarily, but projects that got carried over from the current budget year to next year, and then new capital projects. And those are quite large, and I'll talk to them in just a second. But the general fund is basically flat at roughly 11 million, hardly any increase there. The combined utilities is around 50 million, and that's a 4% increase over last year. But quite frankly, with the exorbitant inflation that all this construction has seen in the last couple of years, and just in maintenance, and I'll speak to some of that in just a second, I'm really think that we've worked pretty hard to keep that from going up more than 4% this year. And of course, we've got 1.7 million this year of the American Rescue Plan money, and 1.7 for next year, but helping us balance the combined utility fund. And those are one-time funds, so and they represent only 3% of the revenue that comes into the combined utility fund. So it's a help, but it's not a huge help, and it's just really one-time funds that we won't be able to count on long term. Excuse me. But some of the major things in here, and I'm just going to highlight a few, is we're putting recreation. We got 2 new zip lines are going in, added to the current zip line, one on Jones's Park and one at the community park, and then major work on the gym floor here and the roof at the one here at City Hall. $500,000 again going into street resurfacing, another big number. $125,000 for drainage and some lighting work in Edgewood. 275,000 to put some lines underground in some neighborhoods that we continually have problems with power outages during ice storms and other storms. That will go a long way to those neighborhoods not having to deal with. They're the ones that are always out, and we need to get some of those lines put underground to avoid that going forward. Big thing in front of us is 1.2 million is going to go to helping us get a new raw water source to supplement what we get from the river and Simpsons Lake. That's just a very minor part of the overall long-term plan, but 1.2 million is going to be going towards that. And then 1.4 million is to improve treatment at the water plant and also some infrastructure needs in water. But $6 million is going towards replacement and expansion of some of our sewer lines. These projects, 5-6 years ago would probably be only half that much as they are today. The last thing I want to talk about big projects is 1.6 million being budgeted for broadband, both upgrading existing customers with high-speed fiber here in the city, and then expanding and improving our customer base outside the city limits. So it's a tight budget. We're able to balance it with one-time funds and using reserves, and it's the second year in a row for that. So we're fortunate to have them, but again, it's not a long-term fix. There's been exorbitant cost increases with infrastructure project and equipment and supplies, as we all know. Same thing for the city, as every one of us are dealing with in our everyday lives and our businesses. And the KERS contributions for our retirement plans, it's nearly 27 cents for every dollar for non-hazardous and 44.33 cents for hazardous duty. And that's going to continue to rise every year and be a real difficult thing to continue to be able to continue to pay that in every year. But we're paying our share of it. It's just not been managed very well at the state level. And this is the price we're having to pay for that. So it's part of doing business and doing what's right for our employees and our past employees. But to deal with all these financial challenges, as we said the other night, we've got a wage study going on right now. We've got a rate study going on right now. We've got a indoor sports facility study going on right now. We have a parking study going on right now. So, and we'll be, in addition to those, we're going to be working with consultants and engineering. So we're going to be doing a lot of work to help us determine what our needs are long term. This stuff takes a lot of time, a lot of this infrastructure, so we can't just sit back and not address stuff that's short term, and also not be addressing stuff that we need long term, like future water supplies. It's something that's a 20-year improvement. 20 years goes by pretty fast anymore. It seems like I remember 20 years ago we were talking about future raw water, and here we are today, and we still haven't nailed that down. So we're going to do all those studies, and I think do the planning that's necessary to do our short-term work, but also make sure we've got things in place long-term. So that's really everything I wanted to say about this current budget. It's probably one of our largest budgets ever, but it's driven by the needs of our growing community, and also a lot out in the county because we serve so many people, and these are essential services that we provide, and everybody expects them to operate properly, and at the drop of a dime, and we want that to happen. So that's why it costs so much, all the businesses we're involved with. So happy to take any questions. Aaron, I think, is at his son's graduation from 8th grade. I'm not sure he got back in time for this, but if anybody has any questions, if not, there's no vote this evening, or excuse me, this afternoon. Just wanted to make sure you got this and got you a final update before we go to our first vote. You all probably wore out with all this after Tuesday night and today, so probably enough said. So if there's nothing else to be brought before today, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Coach Rowe. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
All right. Councilwoman Hart on the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. And you all have a good, safe Memorial Day weekend. And hope to see you all soon. Thanks again for all the hard work. It's a great job.
Thank you, Mayor.